All right, rock stars, welcome to our, I don't know what this is called, ASD chat with Mr. Eddie, the wholesale expert of the group. So quick thing, ASD is a massive trade show that's going on in Vegas over the weekend of
March 18th through 22nd-ish.
Yes, that sounds right.
Give or take. I don't remember. Somewhere around there. Saturday through Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in there. If you know what ASD is, you're probably already going. It is a free event if you pre-register on the website. Just look up ASD online. You're going to find it. You know, be resourceful. Use Google. You don't have to ask for it in the chat. There's also, yeah. Side story. I had mentioned ASD, and I didn't really tell Trista we were going until she got home. I said, "Hey, we're going to ASD." She thought it was the $700 ticket one, so she's like, "What? How much did you spend?" There's another one going on, the Prosper event, which is the day after, or is it the day of? They basically cross over to each other.
So ASD starts on. Here, let me back up. All right, so ASD technically, per the website, starts on Sunday, March 19th, I think it is. Let me see. Because I'm going to get this wrong the whole webinar if I don't look it up. Hold on. Okay, yeah, March 19th. Technically, it's March 19th. However, unless you've been here before, unless you know a lot about it, Saturday the 18th is actually a pretty big buying day for those of you who are doing this for Amazon, which is almost everybody, I would assume, because one of the halls, which I'll explain a little bit more about in a few minutes, is open on Saturday for they call it the preview day. So Saturday the 18th is still a pretty big day. So the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are full days. The show gets emptier by Tuesday, and Wednesday is only a half a day. And then Prosper this year picks up on Wednesday and Thursday for a full day of that conference, which is completely separate from ASD, completely separate pricing. It's in the same place, but separate pricing.
Awesome. Good to know. So when Trista was looking up the whole ASD week, she stumbled upon Prosper, which is a $700 ticket for that one. So ASD is free if you pre-register on the website, or it's $40 at the door. Is how they're working that out. So obviously arrange your hotel, Airbnb, whatever you need to do, plane tickets, etc. That's all on you. I'll just open up with, we are going to be doing an official Rockstars Meetup because there is a good amount of us going. So that is going to be the Sunday, the 19th at 6 p.m. We do have an event page. I'll post it again after we're done here. So check in the group for that page. If you register to the page, please check out the post that I did. We are working on booking an epic, this thing's like 2 stories. It's an epic suite that's going to hold, I would love to get like 40 or 50 of us packed inside of that place. I think that would be phenomenal. But there is a price tag with that type of room setup. So we're not profiting one dime off of this. We just want to cover the room cost to make that happen. So we are asking a $20 fee to come in for the Rockstars Hangout, Meetup, whatever you want to call it. So that would help us out tremendously. And so if you want to check that out, again, I'll post the link to the page and the event page after that. And basically, I'm done. I'm going to kick this over to Eddie, who has been to, he hasn't just been to the events, guys. This dude's a speaker. Like, he teaches one of the workshops. He knows a thing or two about these. ASD is the largest. It's definitely the most popular. So thank you, Eddie, for taking time out of your night. I know he's in Vegas right now at another event.
Vegas is like my second home. Wait, you guys can see. Here you go. There's Vegas. Yeah. So I pretty much live here when I'm not at home.
Yeah. So instead of answering tons of questions via PM or commenting, Eddie wanted to just pull everyone together. We'll get everything covered. So you'll learn the ins and outs. Consider this ASD 101. So if you guys have any questions, drop those over into the chat. We're on the Zoom platform. So if you're on your computer, click on chat on the bottom. I'm not familiar with the mobile. I don't use my phone too much with this. So I don't know what the phone setup looks like. But you can use your chat option to ask questions, and we'll be doing a little bit of Q&A with that. So aside from that, Eddie, that is all you, my friend. What is ASD? What should we expect?
All right, so here's the funny part. for the longest time, up until I think two or three shows ago, I had no idea what ASD stood for, nor did I care. I just knew it was a trade show for merchandise, right? But it's affordable shopping destination, I believe is what it is. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. So basically, it's in Las Vegas twice a year. Usually it's at the end of February into March, and then again at the end of July into August. But this is an off year where it's at the end of March. So it's uncommon for it to be this late in the spring. Goes for like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Goes for 5 days. Always starts technically starts on a Sunday, but again, the preview day starts on Saturday. There's a lot of buying that happens on Saturday. I actually come in on Friday because for religious reasons, there's a lot of vendors who cannot show on Saturday, so I meet them on Friday. So I'm here early. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday for me, I would say, and for people who have been to the show and once you get used to it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe a little bit into Monday are big buying days. Tuesday, the show kind of calms down, and Wednesday, the show's only open for about half the day, so it's really dead. But it's a big show. Thousands of, like a couple thousand vendors, I think. Takes up the entire Las Vegas Convention Center, and there are vendors who spill out into some of the neighboring hotels. So if you've never been to Vegas or if you've never been to the Vegas Convention Center, bring good walking shoes because it's a huge place. I was just here last week for the Consumer Electronics Show, CES. I'm here again this week for another show. So CES, I think it's the second largest show in Vegas for the entire year, is in the same convention center. So it's huge. There's different halls. There's north, central, and there's south. South is the only hall that has an upper and lower floor. And I would say, as an Amazon seller, most likely you're going to be focusing on the south hall. The reason for that is because the general merchandise, housewares, electronics, home and garden, baby, toys, those kind of core, typical, everyday categories are all in the South Hall. Particularly South Hall Upper is very popular, but South Hall Lower is still popular as well. And again, for the preview day on Saturday, only the South Hall Upper is open. And so that's why the reason I say that it's so popular with this kind of crowd, and a lot of people come in for that day, is because it has the merchandise that people are looking for. The other halls are not open until Sunday. If you go into the central hall, it's mostly clothing, HBA, cologne, things of that nature, shoes. And then if you go into the north hall, it's a lot of jewelry. So unless you're in those categories, you probably want to focus on the south hall for the most part. So if you're looking at the vendor list or you're looking at the map and you're like, oh my God, where do I start? Just go to the South Hall. You're going to save yourself a lot of time. That being said, I think it starts on Sunday this year, but Sunday, Monday, and I believe on Tuesday, ASD itself, not Prosper, but ASD itself at the show has a bunch, I want to say 2 or 3 dozen educational workshops featuring a variety of speakers on a variety of topics. I'm one of them. I don't know exactly what time and what day I'm at. I'll post that later. But so if you want to break from the show and you want to hear some expert advice and you want to kind of network with some of the other people in the show and maybe exchange some ideas, those are good free events to attend. They're usually about an hour long each, and they're located in the center hall of the convention center. So kind of away from the masses, but it's no more than a 5 or 10 minute walk from south or north, being in the center, obviously. What else can I tell you? Okay, about the show itself. So this is a lot of times what I hear about ASD and the group itself is people think, oh, it's the best wholesale show to go to, and it's a common misconception. Let me explain to you about ASD versus wholesale in general. So ASD is not a show for traditional wholesale, and by that I mean you're not going to find manufacturers of a ton of different products at ASD because ASD is very heavy on the closeout side, very heavy on the distributor side. So it's different versus if you went to an actual trade show like the Atlanta Gift Show, for example, when you're going to find a lot of the manufacturers there themselves working with products that are not on closeout or like the current everyday stock products. The stuff you'll find here is primarily closeout type of goods. So it's important to understand that distinction versus the other shows. People come in thinking that ASD is the only show or like the best show for wholesale, and I'll tell you that I would disagree with that. It's a good show. I go every time. I find deals all the time. So some of my legacy vendors are here. So it's a good show to attend, but it's very different in terms of what it is, and there's nothing like it out there. So it's important to understand that differentiator of ASD. Now, having said that, there are vendors here. There are some manufacturers. Not everybody is a closeout, but I'm just kind of telling you what the majority is, so you don't come in here thinking you're going to be able to meet all these brands, because it's not going to happen. So just keep that in the back of your head. What else can I tell you? ASDonline.com, the official website for the show, has the exhibitor list. It's posted already. If you've never been here, it's probably a good idea to search that vendor list and filter by category for the vendors that may be the best fit for you. The full contact information for each vendor, as well as their website and things of that nature, is usually listed on each listing. So that's a good place to kind of get your research done ahead of time, so you don't walk into the show blind. Because if you walk in without any kind of game plan, you're going to be extremely overwhelmed. It's very busy. It's very big. The vendors are always tied up usually with their current customer base, so it can get very hectic. So I recommend doing the research with the vendors ahead of time, and also reaching out to them before the show saying, hey, I'm going to be attending. Can I get on your list? Can I set up an appointment? Because these vendors do set appointments. So it's not a bad idea to do that in advance, so you have it like a go-to strategy before you get here. So I think I can share a lot more information on the show, but because this is for everybody else, why don't we open it up for some questions, and then hopefully that'll bring up some more topics of discussion, so like I'm not the only one talking the entire time. So if you have a question, post it in I think it's just the regular group chat, right?
Yeah, there should be a group chat option. I know at least on computer, on the bottom of your screen, you'll see chat. Click on that. You can drop a comment in there.
Yeah. Somebody post a question. There can't be 22 of you. Okay, here we go. Awesome. Matt, any advice how to approach a vendor? It's all about what you can offer to the vendor and your rapport, right? That's with any trade show. The number one thing I preach is offering value, but it's harder to offer value to a closeout liquidation type company versus a regular manufacturer, because these guys have goods that are from all different brands, all different categories, and they just want stuff to be sold. Here today, gone tomorrow type of thing. They're not usually too worried about map pricing or where stuff is being sold, because they're very used to Amazon sellers in this conference. There's thousands of them. I'm not kidding. You'll see people scanning and using their iPad, and you'll see people on Camel and the Amazon app and all over the place. So they're not surprised by that. So I would say really it's going to come down to your value, what you're able to purchase from them. What categories you're comfortable taking on, what kind of quantity you can take on. There's vendors that I don't buy a whole lot from that I visit all the time because we have a good rapport and occasionally a good deal comes along. There's other vendors that I rarely speak that much to in terms of friendship, but they're great vendors because they have great products. So it really depends. Again, not the majority are not going to be concerned with map pricing and shooing away Amazon sellers. There are a few, for sure, but that's not the majority in this case for ASD. When you go to a traditional type of trade show, when you have more manufacturers there and brand owners versus closeouts, you'll find that those people are much more strict with who they'll sell to, because they, at the end of the day, have a current brand they need to protect, and are not just selling product that they're trying to move off the shelf. So it's a big distinction between this, again, ASD and something else. I'm going to scroll up on questions. Hang on. So I got Matt's question. Sean, what are the dates? March 19th through March 22nd are the official dates. However, again, March 18th, Saturday, is the show preview day. If you have not booked your air, if you have not made hotel reservations, or you can change them, I highly suggest you come in and be ready to go for the show on the 18th. Is a big buying day, Saturday. Thomas, how do you make it not awkward with you just scanning their stuff? Also, what do you bring? Which is better, cash or cards? Okay. Majority of them, when you pull out a scanner, are going to be very used to that, so they probably won't say much to you. Some of them don't like it, and they'll tell you, but it's definitely not awkward. There's tons of people doing that all over the show, so don't be worried about that. They're plenty used to that happening.
I just got an image of like someone going up to a vendor creepily going,
yeah, believe me, as soon as you take out your
don't do that and you'll be fine.
As soon as you take out your scanner or your phone, they know exactly what you're doing. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's just how ASD is. What do you bring? Okay, so for me, less is more because I do a lot of walking. So I bring literally a leather-bound notepad, a pen, and a business card case with a bunch of business cards. That's all I bring.
Sounds pretty good, actually, Becky.
So
we might find like a vendor, you know. Yeah, it seems like it, yeah.
No, porque abren.
I can't tell if that's a question or not.
Yeah. I'll ask Charles afterwards. Yeah, it sounds like it's just free, and then we're going to do a little Rockstars event.
Hey, Charles, can you mute some people?
Like, nah.
There we go. All right.
There we go.
Diferente por el martes, jueves, sábado.
Okay, now we're good.
All right. Much better. Okay, so I bring a notepad, pen, business cards. Some people will bring a rolling page or something. What is that? There we go. Okay, some people will bring a rolling suitcase to carry stuff around. Majority of the vendors here don't have full-fledged catalogs, so in my experience, so not too much to pick up in terms of that. And then no need to bring cash. There's no vendor that is allowed to sell samples technically. So don't bring that. In the North Hall, there's cash and carry. That's different. That's mostly for jewelry. So I don't bring cash. Credit cards, sure, you can bring those. But in my experience, I have found that if you want to place an order, normally they write you up a sales order, and then you'll contact them and work with them after the show to finalize payment, give them a wire transfer, credit card, whatever you want to do. They'll contact you after the show, most likely. So bringing the payment stuff, not too much to be worried about there. Someone's asking, how much can you expect to invest, or what's a good amount to bring as an investment? That's totally up to you. I know people who come there and they spend a couple $100, and I know people who spend 6 figures. So for me personally, there's shows that have been terrible. There's shows that have been really good. It all depends on what kind of product is there. So I'll tell you, bring as much as you can and you're comfortable with. Know that there are big buyers here. So a lot of vendors have buyers that they know that they'll try to sell an entire lot to. But that doesn't mean that you as a small buyer can't make some deals. There's a lot of product here. So, if you're going to come to the show with $1,000 or $2,000, then more power to you. That's fine. There's no barrier to entry. So, Chris Freeman, are we able to purchase items right there? Can they ship later? So answer to that question, no. Can't purchase items there except for the North Hall cash and carry, the jewelry area. So they'll all be shipped after the show. How much haggling can you do around pricing? A lot. This is closeout. So yes, you can haggle. Absolutely. No, though, if you haggle, again, you're in a show with a ton of other buyers. So all it takes is someone who wants to supersede your offer to, I guess, knock you out of the play. So, while there's competition, you can absolutely negotiate. It's a closeout show. Are most or all vendors open Amazon sellers? How can Charles be any cooler? Charles can answer the question.
Who is that from? Freeman.
Yeah. So most vendors are open to Amazon sellers. Again, there are a few that are not. But again, I will stress that most, if not all, vendors already work with Amazon sellers. So if you're trying to go to this show and get exclusivity, it's going to be difficult. This is not the best show to ask for exclusivity unless you find like a small niche brand somewhere. Majority of these guys are bigger closeout guys or distributors, and they are not going to be interested in that kind of arrangement. So, Angela, can I expect to be able to purchase small lots, pallets of products to be shipped to my home? Yeah. So it's common to buy the skid here, but you can also buy the case. So if you find a product that you're interested in, you can always tell them, hey, I want to buy a couple cases of this or what have you. I will tell you though, this show, as opposed to a traditional type wholesale show, when you might have a minimum order of like 250, a lot of vendors at this show have minimum orders of $500 to $1,500. That's common at this kind of show because it's bulk buying. So don't be caught off guard if you want to place a couple $100 order and they say, oh, we need to get up to $1,000, for example. Some of them do have that. So, are these major name brand items? There's a mix. There's a lot of brands here, and there's also stuff that you have never heard of. So yes, there are a lot of brands here, major brands that you would know from resale setting. Hey guys, and there are also brands that are newer to the market. But I will tell you this: if you find brands that you don't know, it's an opportunity, right? So if a brand doesn't exist or is not being sold, maybe you can work with that vendor. Maybe you can get that exclusivity. Who knows? There's a lot of discussion that you can do around that kind of setup. So, but you'll find your brands. You'll find toys from Fisher-Price, Hasbro, housewares from like Rubbermaid and Anchor, and electronics from all the big brands. They're everywhere. So you'll find a mix.
Question.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, Eddie. Sorry.
Hey.
So if you come in and you want to know if a vendor has a minimum amount purchase, don't poke me with a pen. Then can that be offensive to them, or do they care if you ask, like, you don't want to waste your time or their time if you've got $1,000 and they want to,
No, no problem to ask them what the minimum order is.
Okay. Cool.
Not a problem. I mean, am I going to say that all vendors are going to be happy to talk to you and be willing to answer that kind of question? I mean, there might be some assholes, but
yeah.
don't be afraid to ask that question. I mean, it's common. So, no, not a problem at all. What are the free days, Sean? I don't really know that question, but every day is free if you register for the show ahead of time. There's not a charge to attend as a buyer.
I think he means more along the lines of, are there any set schedules? Like, is this 8 to 5 p.m. and then free time, or is there free days?
So on the Saturday for the preview day, the show opens at 10 a.m., I believe, and it goes till 6. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it's 9 to 6. And then Wednesday, it's 9 to like 12 or 2, something like that. But I mean, I stress to you, when I say Wednesday is a dead day, it is really fucking dead. I usually fly out and
hangout day.
I usually fly out and go home on Wednesday morning, so I never even go to the show on Wednesday because it's like you'll see vendors. I kid you not. There are vendors there who will hire a staffing agency to get someone to sit in their booth on Wednesday because they went home early and they technically can't close the booth early, and they'll just leave cards on their table because by Wednesday the show's over. So if you're planning on coming in like flying in on like Monday and going to the show Tuesday, Wednesday, bad idea. I'm just gonna tell you, it's not gonna be great for you.
So I've got a question based on that. If I wait until Wednesday to strike up some good deals, are people ready to drop pricing on the last day, or are they holding pretty strong?
It's not like that kind of thing where, majority of the stuff that's good that people want is sold. Okay. So there's still product there, but it's, again, you have thousands of buyers who are going through the show for 4 days before you come there on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So odds are they've picked it up, or the vendor knows somebody, called them and was like, hey, so-and-so, I've got a good product, come by my booth, and they're going to sell it. There are vendors here, they stock up on product for this show twice a year specifically. So believe me, they're not going to leave this show not selling what they want to sell.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Am I able to talk?
Of course you can talk.
Yes.
All right.
You need to take off your shirt and get some jack first.
What happens if I want to be a vendor? How does that work?
You can be a vendor.
What does that cost?
Okay, so the booths are 10 by 10. That's the small size, right? The booth, bare pricing, I want to say, is somewhere around $3,000-ish, but it doesn't include a table, racks, lighting, internet connection, power. None of that's included. So if you want anything like that to make your booth actually run, right, or like be able to hang your product, you're realistically talking probably closer to $5,000 or $6,000. Everything's handled by union labor and all that stuff, strict rules. So yeah, you can be a vendor. Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
You'll probably have to hire somebody to keep Rockstars away, though.
And when I will tell you, if you're a vendor, you're also not only are you going to see people who want to sell online, like it's a big trade show for online, but the major retailers, they do walk this show. So, Amazon Direct, they walk this show. Kohl's, they walk this show. Walmart, they walk the show. Toys R Us, they walk the show. You name it. I mean, they're here. They're not going to be as prevalent as a traditional wholesale show, but they are here for sure.
Awesome.
All right, I'm going back to the chat. Chris Freeman, what's one thing you would tell us not to do on our first visit other than avoid spearmint rhino? What not to do? Jesus. I feel like I should have like a dozen answers to this question. I don't right now off the top of my head. I don't know why. Okay, again, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier because I think it's the biggest point I want to drive home is don't walk into the show without a game plan. Make yourself a schedule. Set up appointments if you can in advance. And even if you don't make appointments, set yourself like blocks, make a calendar saying like, all right, Sunday I'm going to do the show from 9 to 12. I'm going to have lunch for 30 minutes. I'm going to come back to the show. And then I'm going to go to this one of the educational sessions and do that, whatever have you. I did check, by the way, on asdonline.com. The seminar schedule is not posted yet, but it will be posted probably any day now. So keep your eyes on that. Again, there's a couple dozen different things there. So that's what I wouldn't do. Don't come without a game plan. Let's talk logistics, though, real quick about the show. So because of Prosper, a lot of the hotels are booked solid. And also because of the NCAA March Madness, which overlaps with this year because of the late timing of this show. It's going to be very busy in Vegas at this time of year, so hotels are not as inexpensive as they normally are. That being said, the Las Vegas Convention Center is on the north end of the Strip. So some of the hotels that are really convenient to stay at that are close to the convention center, if they're still available, the closest one is the Renaissance Convention Center, which is right across the street. There's also a Courtyard and I believe a Residence Inn around there. Also an Embassy Suites Convention Center. The hotel that I like, that I stay at, is called SLS, Sam, Larry, Sam. It is a Starwood property, so if you've been to a Sheraton property or something of that like, it's in that family. And that is literally a 5-minute drive / 2-minute drive / 5-minute walk from the convention center. I stay there, usually pretty reasonable rates, but last I checked it was sold out. It shares the same building as the W Las Vegas. So if you're looking for an alternative, the W is another option. The other reason I like that is because it's on the monorail. And if you don't know what the monorail is, it's basically a one long train system that goes on the east side of the Strip, all the way from the south end where MGM is, all the way north to the Stratosphere area. So it's like, I don't know, a couple miles long. But the SLS is on that monorail. Other hotels that are on that monorail, which makes it really easy to get to the convention center, MGM, Paris, Bally's, Harrah's, Flamingo. Trying to think what else. There's a couple. Just Google Las Vegas monorail. If you don't want to do the monorail, then Uber is in Vegas, so that's always very easy, as well as cabs. But by all means, it's not a necessity to be on the strip necessarily. I mean, if you like the action, great. By all means, stay on the strip. Go for it. It's always quite lively, as you can see. So by all means, stay on the strip, but you do not need to. I choose not to just because I'm here all the time, and I don't necessarily want to be involved in all this all the time. So that's my advice on the logistics side of it.
Can I add in, we found Airbnb. We actually found a killer place with an epic pool setup, which I'm excited about. If you guys, because I know a lot of you are going to be coming to this with a budget, if you want to post inside of our ASD event page for the Rockstars Meetup, or even in the Rockstars group, if you just say, hey guys, we want to book an Airbnb for ASD, is there anyone else that wants to pitch in? Because you can get a larger size house or a couple different rooms and pitch in to make it a little bit cheaper for you guys too. So that's one option to throw out there.
Yeah. Just beware that because of the late timing of this event this year, being in late March instead of February, we are up against a big crowd of people here for the NCAA championship, and we also have Prosper, which the Prosper event being right after ASD is going to have rumored to be around 1,500 sellers attending. So it's a very, very big event in terms of a conference, one of the largest I've been to or going to. Last year was the first one, so this year's the second one. Yeah, but it's going to be big. So it's putting a strain on the hotels for sure.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and Matt, it's also spring break. Yeah, for sure.
Because Vegas isn't big for that or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's always spring break in Vegas, I guess. All right, other questions. I'm at the bottom of the list. Questions, more questions.
Gosh, we reached the bottom.
Come on, I can't only go 32 minutes on this to be done. 25 of you. I think I've heard from like 4 of you.
You got to beat Sean's 4 hours on Facebook Live.
I can't. I got dinner in 28 minutes, so that's not gonna happen. Sorry.
He still holds the record.
Tell us a little bit about Prosper. Yeah, so sure. Prospershow.com, I believe, is the website. It's an Amazon conference. It's a very, very knowledge-heavy Amazon conference. They have this year, I believe, 12 to 15 former Amazonians there. Again, like 1,500 attendees, and then like 50 industry experts / speakers, and then a couple dozen exhibitors for different services, anything from like Seller Labs with Feedback Genius and all that stuff to like stocking and inventory management and what do you do with excess inventory, like things like that. Sales tax vendors, they're all there. So Prosper is right now until the end of January at a $699 price tag for the event, which I know is steep. But I promise you, if you can and do make the investment, you will not be disappointed, because I would say out of all the attendees at that Prosper event, you're going to have several hundred sellers for sure that are doing multi-millions on Amazon. So if you're able to network with them and sit around them at lunch or grab a drink with them at the social events or whatever, you will gain a whole ton of knowledge. So Prosper is, again, it's in its second year. I went to it last year for the first year. It was in Salt Lake City. A really good show. So this year it's conveniently located in the same place as ASD. ASD ends on Wednesday the 22nd. Prosper starts on Wednesday the 22nd and also goes on Thursday the 23rd. So you can find all the details on that at prospershow.com. I have no affiliation to it whatsoever, just sharing the knowledge. It is a good show. Okay, more questions. Let's see. Someone posted this question under me, and I have no idea how they did that. That's interesting. Okay. From myself to myself. Awesome. Myself is asking myself, is there a difference between August and March show? Has one been better than the other? I really have no idea how they did that. It's interesting. Okay. No, it's the same exact show. The only thing I'll tell you is how I play it. In March or February, whenever it technically is in the spring, I look for products that are going to be really, really good in the spring and summer and fall, maybe fall, because you're going into that season, right? I also look to source stuff that is good for outdoors, for example, because you're going that season, right? At the fall show in August, you'll still find a lot of those outdoor type things, for example, but I typically won't buy those because by the time you get it in and send it into Amazon and start selling it, it's going to be September, going to get colder. So those pool rafts that were a great deal at ASD in August, probably not the best buy because you're going to have a month to sell them and then going to have to wait another 8 months to sell them again. So just be wary that consider the season that you're buying for when you buy product and you look at product. Obviously, there's products at the show that it doesn't matter what time of year it is. Like if you're buying, kitchen appliances, that doesn't make a difference. But I will tell you that I treat the shows in that fashion. And as far as Q4 is concerned, I buy for Q4 at every single show I go to, no matter when it is. I go to shows, in January and February that I buy for Christmas of this year. Just because sometimes the product's not available or sometimes it's a really good deal. So never too early to buy for Q4, that's for sure. What's typical markup we can expect? The general rule is 3 times purchase price. Markup is in terms of like what you can sell it for? I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're asking like what can you normally sell it for, how much more can you sell it for based on what you bought? That's going to vary in the time of product. I would say that the 3 times rule doesn't really apply. You'll find products that you might only be able to profit 10% on, maybe even less, but they might be ranked really, really well, so maybe it'd be worth it. I don't know. It depends on your method. You'll find other products that might not be ranked as well that you can easily double, triple, or 4 times, maybe even more on. It really depends. So I would say that the general rule of 3 times purchase price, I would say doesn't really apply. So kind of hard to answer that. What's the biggest benefit of attending on Saturday? Okay, so again, Saturday is preview day. ASD has 1, 2, 3, 4 main halls: north, center, and south. South has upper and lower, so 4. On Saturday, the only hall that is open is the south floor upper. But the south floor upper is arguably the best floor for Amazon sellers because it has just so many different types of products. So if you're looking to get a jump start on the show and you have the ability to come in and be ready to go on Saturday morning at 10 in the morning, absolutely would recommend doing it. Not all the vendors are set up on Saturday. You'll still see a lot of people setting up and getting their booths ready, but you will see a lot of vendors who are ready to go. So you can definitely still fill a full day talking to the vendors who are ready to go and are exhibiting on Saturday, and try to get your feet wet and do it that way. So, for me, Saturday is a big buying day. Again, I mentioned I even have vendors that meet with me on Friday in an off-location area. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think, aside from the first time I attended the show back in 2013 or 14, I don't think I've ever come in and started on a Sunday. I've always started on Friday for me. So, but Saturday's a good starting day. Any other questions? I'm at the bottom again. Yes.
So with you said doors open at 10 a.m. Was
10 a.m. on Saturday, the 18th, and then 9 a.m. on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
So is the line just like 2 miles long going into this? You recommend certain times that people show up?
No. So you can go, I don't know the exact times, but on Friday, if you fly in on Friday, for example, you can go to the lobby area of the convention center and you can get your badge ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So in all my years of being at ASD and all my times of being at ASD, I would say the line to get in is pretty much non-existent, with the exception of if you get there before 10 a.m. on Saturday, because they haven't yet opened the doors. So you'll see a line to get in, at 10 a.m. But as soon as they open that door at 10 a.m., that line will dissipate within a few minutes. So don't expect to be standing in line for, an hour or 2 or whatever. It's not going to happen.
So if I'm there at 6, I can be the first one?
I mean, you can, but no benefit, honestly. So, yeah, I mean, just be there by, like, I get there at like 9:45, 9:30, 9:45, and I'm good.
Can I just follow you?
No.
Like a couple days.
No. No. I have eyes like everywhere.
Eddie's rule. You should hire bodyguards. If you see rock stars, you need to keep them away.
Yeah. No, you cannot follow me.
Eddie's going to be a ninja. You're not going to see him for 4 days.
I actually might. So here's what I might do, depending on my schedule. I haven't figured out my schedule yet, but I might do where like each day I'll be like, hey, I'm going to have lunch from this time to this time. If you want to come and hang out and chat and like, ask some questions or like, I'm struggling with something or whatever. I want your advice. Like, then cool. Like, well, here's the power hour or whatever. I'll be downstairs at the cafe. I'll post a location basically.
That is awesome.
I'm thinking about doing that. So, if you guys are there and want to do that, then we can try to do something like that. But that's the extent you can follow me. Let's see. More questions. Hang on. Are there other major events we should look out for in the year for Amazon that is not ASD? So trade shows, there's trade shows every weekend. Again, Vegas, for example, is trade show headquarters. It's January 18th, and I've already spent, I think, 9 days in Vegas this year. So I'm here for shows, okay? They happen all the time. Almost every weekend there's a show in Vegas. But there's shows everywhere. LA, Miami, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, Dallas, everywhere. So if you want to find other events, my biggest advice, Google is your friend, right? So Google type of product, like housewares trade show, like that's in Chicago, for example. Unfortunately, at the same time as ASD this year. Terrible. But toys trade show, Toy Fair New York, gift show, Atlanta gift show is a big show. You name it, you can find it. So do some research, like hardware, if you sell hardware. There's a show in Vegas for that. Candy, there's a show in Chicago for candy, grocery category. You name it, you can find it. There's show pretty much every weekend for sure.
There's a show coming up, SCO.
Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, yep. So that one is coming up in Philly. I believe it's like the first week.
SCO, so SCO, it's important. SCO is a seller conference, not a trade show.
Okay, gotcha. So I just want to give people a heads up. I did get in contact with somebody there. We are going to have a Rockstars code that will give you a $150 discount on their ticket.
Yeah, so SCO, I'm actually speaking there this year in March, and it's in Philly. And
in Seattle.
Again, yeah, no. SCO Philly is in March. SCO Seattle is in fall.
Okay, gotcha.
There's so twice a year.
We'll have a Rockstar discount for both.
Okay, yeah. So it's March 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, I believe, are the dates for SCO. Or 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, something like that. SCOE.biz is the website for that. You can see all about it. But it's a seller conference, so it's a bunch of speakers and topics and networking and things like that. It's not a buying show. Let's see. How long have you been selling with Amazon? Do you remember your first aha moment when you realized this was for you? Yeah, when I made like profit, that was great. And when I could take a phone case that I bought for 10 cents and make $4, that was awesome. Yeah, I remember that. I sold my first products were phone cases and Dish Network TV receivers. Those are great. Yeah, but so I've been in e-commerce for over 15 years, and specifically on Amazon since 2012. Amazon is one of about almost just over 24 channels that we use. So, yeah. When you buy for Q4 this event, do you take immediate March or future delivery? Almost every vendor you buy from at this show, you have to take immediate delivery. Most of them will not hold for you, so you have to buy and take it, pay for it, like now. Is there a software that you recommend that automates POs? My business is primarily wholesale. I was looking into Stitch Labs. Really, it's going to depend on your setup. Stitch Labs, QuickBooks. There's a lot of them. Really depends on what your other needs are. There's tons of software that can generate POs, right? But usually you want to get a software that integrates some other features with it as well. So I'm gonna do this. I've got about 5 more minutes because I've got dinner at 7 my time, which is 15 minutes from now. So I'm gonna do 5 more minutes of Q&A, and then again, this is recorded. So if you want to go back to this and watch it again, if you missed parts of it or want a refresher, Charles will post it places. Which do I use? We use a custom software, so nothing that's readily available. Have you heard of Finale? No, I have not. Any other questions, concerns, ideas, anything related to getting there, when to go to the show, what to look for? I just want to remind everybody again that Charles said on the beginning of the call we are going to have a Rockstars Meetup for ASD. So if you're coming, definitely consider that. It's going to be an awesome time to network. I'll be there, of course, and there's a lot of people who I know who will be there. Great insight into things. It's a nominal charge of $20. What is it? Is that right? $20. $20 to get in. We're going to get a private suite. That money is not a profit thing. It's just the room to get that is going to cost a little bit for the amount of people we have. So we're essentially just covering cost. So $20 to network for an evening is well worth your money, especially if you're paying to come out to ASD. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh yeah. So that is on Sunday night, Sunday the 19th.
Well, I just put down 6 p.m. What time did you say the doors? Because they shut the doors to this, right?
Yeah, so the doors close at 6, so I don't know if you want to keep it at 6 or go to 7, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Either way, just make sure you mark going because we do need a head count. We do need confirmations. I'm going to pull up my PayPal account and have you guys start submitting those $20. That way we can go ahead and get this thing booked. Yeah. But, yeah, that will be Sunday, anywhere from 6 to 7. Just pay attention inside of the event pages where we'll keep home base. That's where Eddie will probably post his lunch meetings that he'll be doing. Yeah. So consider that event page the home base throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. So yeah, the Rockstars Meetup page, I'll post each day, like what time I'm doing lunch and where, if you guys want to chat or have more questions while you're at the show. I'll try to make myself available as much as I can for that. And again, I can't stress enough the seminars that they offer, they're free. So if you're not going to Prosper but still want to get some advice from the experts, definitely look into the seminars at ASD. They are not posted yet, but if you bookmark asdonline.com, go to the session schedule. It's one of the top bars there. They'll have it released, I'm guessing, any day now.
And what are you covering a certain topic?
Yeah, so I'm speaking on wholesale.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So about that.
Awesome. Well, I think we
okay. Oh yeah, wait. Yeah. So last year they had an app which had all the schedules. Yes, they do that every time. I don't know if the app for March is available yet, but if you look at the App Store or whatever the other one is, Google Play, I guess, search ASD or ASD Market Week. I forget what it's under. And you can download the app. It'll have maps of the show floor, the exhibitor information, and the session schedule. It'll do push notifications for you for when they have things starting, and it's a good app to have for sure.
Nice. Tell you what, whenever the first person gets a hold of that app and you see it's available, just take a screenshot, post it in the event page, and say, "Hey guys, it's up."
Yeah. So the other thing I just want to tell you about real quick in terms of advice is the cell phone reception in the hall can get really terrible. So don't rely on having a great internet connection. Usually you can get something, but don't rely on a whole ton. And absolutely bring extra battery packs, because if you're scanning all day, you are going to drain your battery so fast. So bring extra battery packs, because to get a charger somewhere or charging area is difficult at this show. So bring battery packs for sure.
I'm going to bring a whole bunch of Mophie cases and sell them. Sell to the resellers.
I have mine. I carry mine all the time.
I love mine. I live off of it.
Yep. Oh, wow. Look at this.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait to see that.
See everything in Vegas. All right. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I've got to hop off. But, again, this is recorded, so feel free to watch it again. And if you have more questions, post them in the group, tag me, and I'll do my best to answer them.
Awesome. Eddie, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, no worries.
All right, rock stars, thank you so much for tuning in. I am friggin' pumped, not just for ASD, but I'm pumped to meet you guys. You guys know that I love selling product. I love making money, but I'm about people. I'm about community. So I'm almost more excited just to hang out with you guys than to buy some products, which I can't even put into words. I'm just pumped. I think it's going to be a fantastic time. I'm going to be bringing my cameras. I'm going to have a videographer and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys want to be in the YouTube channel, I would love to do some little testimonials from you guys. But aside from that, peace out. Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Cool.